Hi! Within this lecture, we're going to see how we can discover the devices that are connected to the same network as we are, and there is a very great tool in order to achieve this, okay? And it's called Netdiscover. Later on in the Python section, we're going to see how we can write this tool as well, so we can have our own Netdiscover tool. But for right now, I'm just going to use it. And in order to do that, you have to type netdiscover-i in your terminal. We will specify the IP range, but in order to get this, let me run ifconfig first. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So as you might know by now, ifconfig gives us the current interfaces and the IP addresses, local IP addresses. As you can see, I'm not connected to the WLAN O because, as I said in the previous lecture, we're going to use network to simulate some on the same network conditions. But as you can see, I'm connected to the ETH0, which has the IP address of 10.02.15. So IP addresses, local IP addresses, generally has this range from 1 to 255. So any device connected to this range, any device connected to this network might have the IP address of 10.02.1, 10.02, 200, 10.02, 254. So let me run this netdiscover ETH0, this is my interface, and -r range, and in order to specify the range, I will say something like 10.02.0/24. It means that go from 0 to all the way up to the 255 and scan all the devices that are connected to the same network. And as you can see, now I have these IPs in my network. So anytime you want to get out of this screen, you may just hit Ctrl+C in your keyboard. But let me tell you the results of this netdiscover scan. So here you see the vendor name and you see the MAC address and the IP address. So we match the MAC address with IP address on the same network. Okay? So we have different kinds of devices in here, but let me show you something else. I'm going to plug in my USB Wi-Fi card and I'm going to scan this network with my local IP when I'm connected to the router directly from Kali machine. And you don't have to do that, don't worry. I'm just going to show you different versions of netdiscover. If I want to do this right now, if I run ifconfig, then you will see that I'm connected to the internet with my WLAN O and I have the IP address of 192.168.127. Now I have a different local IP. I have one starting with 192. So if I just run netdiscover with IWLAN O and with range 192, okay, so -r 192.168.1.0, and I have to add /24. So it will scan every device from 0 all the way up to the 255. So let me run this one more time. I believe now, yeah, we got the results. As you can see, now I see different results. When I ran this with 10.02.1, it only displayed the results within the virtual machine. So I could have seen the Windows machine, Windows virtual machine and everything. But if I do this with my USB Wi-Fi card, now I see the real devices like my phone or my MacBook or my other connected devices on my home router. So in the following sections, following lectures, I'm going to use network and I'm going to do this operation with 10.02.1 in order to simplify things and in order to simulate the same conditions as I'm using USB Wi-Fi card. But in order to avoid the complexity of USB Wi-Fi card, I'm going to go for NAT network anyway. So right now you know how to do Netdiscover scan, but let me stop here, and within the next lecture we're going to deep dive into this issue more.